Doctor, should I start?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yes, Group A members, we have Kasozi Emmanuel, Kasozi Nicholas, Luwagu Jude, Nachoni Justin, and Nasazi Sarah. Yes, Emma, I would request you go to the next slide. Yes, Doctor, we started with the defining strategy, and we defined it as is any action that managers take to attain one or more of the organization's goals. Strategy can also be defined as a general direction set for the company and its various components to achieve a desired state in the future. Then IT strategy is a comprehensive blueprint of how an enterprise IT team supports the business objectives and operations with optimal technology solutions. And then B, an operating model outlining how IT departments run its own businesses. I request you go to the next slide. Then also we started with giving a background of the Clarion School for Boys, as Clarion School for Boys was founded in 1989 as a refugee for Way Forward Boys by a group of investors from Chicago, all of whom had grown up in foster homes but accumulated considerable wealth during their lives. It was classified as a private for-profit residential treatment facility for delinquent boys between the age of 10 and 18. Their vision was to create an environment for boys who had got into trouble and provide them with a diagnosis and a treatment plan, as well as the discipline and support needed to become productive members of the society. That was our background. I request Emma to go to the next slide. Then we gave the summary of the state of affairs. By definition, we understood state of affairs as the general situation and circumstance connected with something, like what were the circumstances which led to the school to come up with a system or to implement the system. We started with, since 1999, Clarion's strategy to differentiate itself from its competitors emphasized the importance of using modern information technology in combination with a caring staff attitude, because the school typically dealt with potentially dangerous students. The ability to connect support staff and access student records quickly was considered essential to effective performance. So for them, they wanted to beat their competitors, so they came up with an idea of starting a system. Then, with the labor costs representing 68% of their school's operating budget, Young's predecessor, Jacob Miller, considered computerization as one way to increase staff effectiveness and productivity in accessing information and to improve communication among the staff. Another circumstance which led to the system implementation The stated objective of the hardware and software investment was to save staff time by using electronic communication to accelerate routine tasks and to provide easier, faster access to computerized student data. I kindly request you go to the next slide. Then we also came up with a SWOT analysis, and we started with the strength of the school. And the first strength was 12 personal computers were available in a community cubicle office environment for shared use by treatment and support staff. This was the strength because of the presence of those computers. Before the system was implemented, at least they had that as their strength. Some computers were available. Then Clarion's ability to manage difficult cases was largely the result of its comprehensive treatment program. Then Board of Directors approved the purchase of an IBM S computer as associated application software. By the top managers supporting them, it is a strength. Then staff from all treatment programs and support areas expressed enthusiasm for the proposed benefit. Staff supporting the idea is also a strength. Then a joint effort between board members and staff from all levels had led to the adoption of the division's first 5 years plan. Then dictation equipment is used extensively by treatment personnel. This use increased efficiency for both treatment staff and the secretarial staff who transcribe the dictations. Personal computers are used by the controller and the director of development to generate overhead slides for the presentation. Then software application programs are flexible enough to be useful for both beginners and advanced users. Since the school had both beginners and advanced users, it was a strength since software programs were flexible for both. Then adequate software documentation manual are available for users. It's also a strength. Then the AS file transfer product allows data transfer between PC and mainframe units. It allows flexibility for those who use PC a lot. Then the AS400 is expandable in case additional workstation or processor are needed. This is a strength because the school grows, meaning if it gives an additional, if it allows the school to expand, it is a strength. System backups are done on a daily basis and are well organized. Quarterly preventive maintenance schedule coordinated through IBM representatives have been effective in the past. I request you go to the next slide as my colleague continues to take you through weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Okay. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
I'm going to continue with the weaknesses, and among the weaknesses we managed to come up with, we realized that there were no major upgrades to the S400 system, which were made due to severe constraints at Clarion School from 2000 to 2004. Resultant quality of dictated memos was largely dependent on the level of the experiences of the secretaries. Some needed software is not available on the AS400, necessitating the use of personal computers for some reporting functions. Then self-paced tutorial software is not also available for users. A number of users stated that the PCs were not available when they needed them late in the day. PCs are used heavily from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., which is the weakness. And 90 minutes each day of the senior bookkeeper's time is spent running the system backups and initial program loads. Consequently, others cannot use the system during that time. And this affects the work at the school. Emma, please go to the opportunities. And some of the opportunities we managed to come up with, one of them was the distributed system was networked at campus wide and linked to the 60 IBM personal computers and attached to laser printers. Each personal computer was provided with the latest version of Microsoft Windows as well as the Microsoft Office application software suite. And according to the IBM sales representative, the network architecture allowed 4 to 50 more personal computers to be added over time, which was an opportunity to the school. In the threats, all capital expenditures were allocated from the Capital Asset Fund of Clarion. Each division competed with the other operations for the access of this fund. And low speed of the system, this is seen when they wanted to opt for a new system, which was 4 or 5 times faster than the old system. Poor communication due to delayed response, since most of the staff were not, they couldn't use the system and they didn't know how to use the email. So this made the communication poor and the response was not fast. And then the ICT possible needs and requirements for the school. The school needs to purchase more computers. They need to train staff on the new system. And this was seen when Brian Thomas discovered that his assistant and the director of planned giving were using the system less than he had thought as well. And we quoted this to make a long story short. He said, no one ever told me what value I would get from the new computer system. I could use a better phone system so I could hold conference call among potential donors rather than a better computer system. I'm sure I could raise more money if I could put donors in contact with each other one-on-one. It wasn't really good. So there is need to train staff so that they can adopt to the new computer system. The school also needs to do more major upgrades on the AS400 system. The system backup schedule needs to be revised because it takes place during working time, hence preventing users from using the system. It takes place each morning between 8 and 9. And this was also evidenced when Becca was backing up the system and she specified that no other users could log in.
Thank you, Sarah. I may take on from there. Concerning if we were ICT director, we had to formulate strategic objectives for this school. Among the objectives we had or we came up with, one was to develop a comprehensive ICT strategy and implementation plan. Among the activities to achieve this objective, they have to conduct a comprehensive assessment of schools' ICT infrastructure, the system and processes. We had to give a timeline of 6 months such that they can achieve, or this objective can be achieved Develop an ICT strategy and implementation plan aligned with the school overall strategic plan. It is another activity to achieve that. Obtain approval from school management for ICT strategy and implementation plan. Communicate with ICT strategy and implementation plan to all stakeholders to obtain their support. Remember, strategic plan, ICT strategy, you need to have your stakeholders, board members. You have to get support. They should be on board. So they have to do that activity to communicate clearly to their stakeholders in order to achieve this first objective. Another one was enhance the school's ICT infrastructure. Among the activities, in order to have this objective 2 achieved, upgrade the school's internet connectivity to provide high-speed internet access through the campus. So when the internet is there, they can achieve that. Implement a reliable and secure wireless network throughout the campus. So they are ensuring security of their network to avoid hackers. Provide sufficient computing devices. So more laptops and desktops would be needed for all staff and students. Provide projectors, interactive whiteboards, other necessary hardware for all. Because we are enhancing the ICT school, the ICT infrastructure, because this school also is meant for teaching and learning. So adding more projectors, interactive whiteboards, and other necessary hardware for all classrooms could help them achieve this objective too. So it is among the activities to work with. Another one was to provide ICT training and support all staff. Remember, this was one of the activity which was not going on among the athletes we have raised above. They lacked vast training among the staff and students. So it is another another objective we came up with. If they train and support all staff and students. Among the activity to achieve this objective was to develop and implement ICT trainings for all staff and students, providing ongoing support and assistance to staff and students as they use ICT for teaching and learning and school operations. So as the students study and as the staff do teach, they have to come in and help on with ongoing support. Another objective we thought of was establish clear policies and procedures for ICT use. Here, among the activities to work with, develop and implement clear policies and procedures for internet usage, email usage, social media, and data protection. So that there should have policies concerning the internet usage at the school and email and other social media platforms and among students and staff. Communicate these policies and procedures to all stakeholders to obtain support. This activity, remember, when you bring your stakeholders, the management members, the board of directors on board, you are able to enforce the policies to the end users, students, and staff. Still, we thought of this activity of providing ongoing training and support to ensure compliance to these policies and procedures stated above. So if some people don't know what to do with the policy, you keep on doing continuous training and support to ensure they comply to the policies governing the usage of maybe internet, email, and other things. The fifth objective we thought of was enhance communication and collaboration between staff and students using ICT. Among the activity to achieve that objective was to implement video conferencing, messaging, and file sharing platforms to facilitate effective communication and collaborations. And we stated the timeline. Encourage staff and students to use these platforms for communication and collaboration. That one could be ongoing whenever. There is no timeline for that. It is ongoing. We had another one was to establish a dedicated ICT support team, recruit and hire qualified ICT support. Provide ongoing training and support to ICT team. They need their workshops also to get more knowledge, however much they are specialists in ICT, but also you need to train these people you have recruited to enable this school achieve this establishment of dedicated ICT support. These strategic objectives and activities should be achieved with a time frame of, we said, 12 to 18 months, almost 2 years, with ongoing support and maintenance, and after implementation. We had to come up with a summary in conclusion for the strategy, and we said the ICT strategy for Client School for Boys is designed to help the school achieve the overall objective of providing quality education to its students. The strategy furthermore addresses the school's current ICT needs and requirements, and also outlines a roadmap for improving ICT infrastructure, integration, and support in the school. By investing in appropriate ICT infrastructure, providing necessary training and support to staff and students, and integrating ICT into teaching and learning practices, the school can enhance teaching and learning outcomes and improve the overall quality of education provided to its students. Additionally, implementing policies and procedures for safe and secure use of ICT, those are the policies I stated up in the school, will ensure that students are protected from cyber threats. That's what I talked about, of hackers and risk associated with the ICT usage. The successful implementation of ICT strategy will enable Client School for Boys to remain competitive and meet the expectation of its stakeholders. It will also help the school to attract and retain students, as well as enhance school's reputation in the education sector. Overall, the ICT strategy is an important component of the school's overall strategic plan, and its successful implementation is critical to achieving the school's objectives and fulfilling its mission. That's all what we had for Group A.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have any comments or questions for Group A? Any comments or questions? No? Okay, thank you, Group A. Thank you for that good work and the effort you've put in. It shows. I particularly liked your summary because it demonstrated your thought process throughout. Where I would point out I needed a little bit more improvement would have been especially your SWOT analysis and your objectives. The SWOT analysis, if we had seen more abstract SWOT analysis, you went very much into detail on the ICT side, the technical side, and we needed to see something more on the management and strategic side. For example, something to talk about the abstract side on the network, a description of the state of the network, network distribution, vis-a-vis stations of work where somebody sits, something like that, something a little bit more abstract. Then also on the objectives, the strategic objectives, you're in the process of developing a strategic plan. So have in it that your objective is to develop, yet you're actually developing, that strategic objective may be a bit redundant. So I felt that it needed a little bit more refinement, but definitely you put in good effort, and I thank you for that, Group A. Can we have another group? I especially want to move quickly because we are using my phone, and phone calls usually come in and may interrupt our class. So can we have the next group?
Group B is ready.
Okay.
Yes, Group B is ready.
Please go ahead.
I don't know if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, Ivan.
Yes, morning all. This is Group B, and these are the members within our Group B, and each member will have a specific section to present. Doctor, apparently one of our members called Milton, he's not feeling well.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hospitalized. So probably
sorry.
yes, so you forgive him for that, and we shall represent him. Okay. So based on the questions that you gave us, we were supposed to come up with the what? With a proper critical analysis of the state of affairs. That should also include a summary of state of affairs, SWOT analysis, a summary of possible needs, and requirements for the school. I will not dive much into these questions. I'll just go direct to the introduction. Well, the Barrier School of Boys was developed in 1998 by a group of investors from Chicago who had grown up in foster homes but became successful in life. Their vision was to provide troubled boys with a supportive environment, diagnosis, treatment, and discipline to become productive members of Summary. And this school, or the Mikroner division, was opened in 1993 and classified as a private for non-profit residential treatment facility for delinquent boys between the ages of 10 and 9. So within that introduction, it speaks so much because when you are coming up with a strategy, with the ICT strategy, one of the things you actually focus in is that this strategy should basically support the objectives and mission of the institute. And ICT within this to enable an ICT, since ICT is a strategic enabler for us to achieve the objectives and the mission of the institute. Yes, one of the first things, definitely as a consultant, you come in and look at this state of affairs. We have summarized so many of these things into these 3 sentences, whereby Clarence School for Boys implemented an ICC system without a guiding strategy or policy, resulting into a number of challenges. The school currently faces issues with the ICC system, and including hardware and software. And one of the hardware they bought actually of recent was the AS400. And software problems, inadequate affect structure, insufficient IT support, and the lack of coordination among different departments. And definitely when you have some of these challenges or issues, meeting the organizational strategic objectives becomes a very, very, very big challenge. And then also definitely also, as I've stated, the absence of a clear ICT strategy also leads to a lack of direction, inconsistent decision making, and a failure to align ICT initiatives with the school's overall goals. So this one, that last statement actually clearly speaks it out, that there is a need for the ICT department or the ICT unit to come up with a direction. Because with a strategic plan, yes, it gives a direction, it gives you a goal, it enables you to achieve so much in making decisions and decisions for the organization, not only for the IT department, also at the end of the day, proper decision making for the organization. Coming with the SWOT analysis, with the strength, yes, the school of recent purchased the new AS400, and which is good because now this one shows that yes, there's some existing infrastructure and systems in place that can be used by the organization, and also you realize within the case study document, you find that there is willingness among staff members to engage with ICT and try different technologies that probably will come its way. Then we look at the weaknesses. Yes, one of the first things there's definitely a lack of a clear ICT strategy or policy in place that will guide us, or that will guide the department and also the institution in proper planning. Still also, when you look at the infrastructure that is still there, is still lacking. It's still lacking when you look at things like the network, and also some bit of the hardware. And also they have a bit of insufficient IT support and technical experience to not only resolve issues within their current systems, but also helping out the staff members and other members of the community to resolve many of their issues that keep on popping up. And still within this SWOT analysis, the opportunities, yes. This strategic plan, actually, it is something that can also bring about opportunities that we can actually leverage on in order for us to still achieve the school's overall goals and objectives. And that's the first point whereby, yes, there's an opportunity for us to develop a clear ICT strategy that will align with the goals and objectives of the school. Then also the opportunities within the state, within the case study, you realize that, yes, the system they built, there's a need of upgrading the hardware and software to improve its performance and efficiency. And performance and efficiency go so far to the staff members and also the school at large, for us to achieve our strategic objectives. Then also, yes, there's a need to improve IT training and support for staff to improve their technical experience, because one, when you have a proper strategic plan, within that strategic plan, you have a training plan, and that training plan actually can help and enhance on not only on the knowledge of the IT staff, but also on the knowledge of the staff in general. When it comes to either things of security, they can be more security aware of things that happen around. Yeah. Then going also to the threats. Yes, you realize that despite the school purchasing some of this equipment, you realize that there's still a limited budget. Actually, this limited budget and resources, it does not only affect this institute, but in general, it does affect resource mobilization, because ICT is not it's quite an expensive adventure, but at the end of it all, what we need to align is that ICT capabilities should deliver value towards the strategic objectives, because you can purchase something that is too expensive, but will it give the value that is needed for the organization? So that just like an example Doctor had given us in the previous lessons, whereby she was somewhere and these UN guys, or is it not UN guys, but those guys were having systems that are so expensive, $1 million, $2 million. But you probably within your institution or within the institution, you can't have such, because they may not really bring the value. So that would be the limited budget. But also the other threat that we discovered within the systems is definitely resistance to change from staff members who may be unfamiliar or uncomfortable with the new technologies. And as an ICT director or consultant, we have to know, or we have to put it in mind, that this is where now we have to deal with change management, because that is something that would come in play. The summary of possible ICT needs and requirements for the school. Yes, one would develop a clear ICT strategy that aligns with the school's objectives. That would be one thing. Then carry out upgrades to both hardware and software for performance and effectiveness. Establish a help desk and IT team to provide technical assistance and support to the staff members. Then provide IT training and support staff to improve their technical experience. Then foster collaboration and coordination among different departments to ensure ICT initiatives are aligned. Then carry out a DR plan to ensure business continuity in case of unexpected events, such as system failures and cyber attacks. Then finally, there's implementing an effective security measures to protect against sensitive data and ensure compliance with data protection regulations. An example is data protection policies that are out there. So in summary, these needs are actually, I would say, they're obtained from the SWOT analysis. So without a proper SWOT analysis, you may fail to get the proper needs, ICT needs and requirements for the school. Thank you so much. I think my colleague will go next.
Thank you, class. Thank you, Doctor. On ICT strategic objectives, we developed, the question required us to develop a comprehensive ICT strategy or policy that aligns with the school's overall goals and objectives. First of all, is to conduct a needs assessment and to identify the ICT requirements of the different departments. Then conduct a SWOT analysis to identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities related to ICT, and develop an ICT policy that outlines the school's approach to ICT technology and defines roles and responsibilities of staff. Then establish a governance framework to ensure effective decision-making and oversight of ICT initiatives. And the timeframes we allotted for this activity is 6 months. We think it should be sufficient to achieve those. And the next one, the next objective that we suggest is upgrade hardware, software to improve performance and efficiency. And in this, the activities in that objective is we conduct a technology like an IT audit to identify the outdated hardware and software that are due for replacement. develop a plan for hardware and software upgrades based on the results of the audit. It should be like a risk-based approach, so that you're using criticality, so that the resources that my colleagues spoke about earlier, the scarce resources, are invested where they will return the highest of benefit to the institution. Then purchase and install the new hardware and software, following the plan that we talked about earlier. Then test, evaluate the new software and hardware to ensure that you're in line with the school's requirements. And of course, ongoing monitoring to ensure that you're tracking achievement of these objectives. The timelines we are allotted to this is 12 months. Alvin, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor. I'll continue with the strategic objectives, and the next objective was to provide IT training and support for staff to improve their expertise. And we found this important because, of course, the staff was under-trained, and the activities that we came up with in order to achieve this objective are conduct skills assessment to identify the IT needs of the staff members. This one is necessary because when you conduct an assessment, you're able to know the level of skills that the staff has, and also what functions they are using on the IT system. Some of them are using emails, others are using video conferencing. So you're able to identify and see how they utilize the system. So it can also be a form of like that of data capture. So after conducting, then you need to develop a training plan that includes both basic and advanced training. Why basic and advanced training? It's because the different staff have different skill sets, and they also handle different departments. So I believe there are staff that handle basic IT functions, and then there's also staff that handle advanced IT functions. They all do different functionalities for their organization. So that's why we say we should do both basic and advanced training for the different staff. Then provide in-person or online training sessions. These ones are probably for those who have not grasped the trainings and they've approached. This one just to make sure that they are all on the same boat when it comes to the trainings and also attaining skills. And then you need to establish a help desk or IT support team to provide technical assistance and support of the staff members, so that in case of any issue in the system or any query, the help desk is able to approach and support in the different departments. And we said the time frame for this is 12 months. 12 months will be sufficient enough to attain that objective. So the next objective is to foster collaboration and coordination among different departments to ensure ICT initiatives are aligned, and the activities we have establish a cross-functional ICT committee or team. This team should be able to function within the organization, within all the departments, should be able to provide support within all the departments of the organization. This is why we need a cross-functional team, not one team that is going to only support the finance, or one team that's only going to support operations, or one team that's going to support only hardware. So we need a cross-functional team that can support the whole organization. Then develop a communication plan to ensure all departments are aware of the ICT initiatives and their role in the implementation process. Yeah, so as we are building this these ICT initiatives, we need to ensure that all departments are aware of what is happening, and they also need to be aware of their roles that they're going to play in the implementation process. For example, if let's say you are trying to improve on the hardware, definitely if you're going to improve on the hardware, you have to tell the user that we are going to improve this and this is what is going to change. The operating system is going to change like this from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And that communication has to cut across whoever, all the users of the system. Then holding regular meetings to discuss progress and address any issues that arise. Actually, that is a very major problem because when it comes to issue resolving, when it comes to solving issues in some areas of ICT, people don't hold meetings and it becomes an issue because no one can track the progress of an issue. So if we hold more meetings, or if they hold more meetings, they can be able to track progress of maybe this network has been down for a week. Why has it been down for a week? So they're able to track issues and ensure that they are resolved within a specific time. Then ensure that all ICT initiatives are aligned with the school's overall objectives. Definitely, as one of the strategic enforcers, ICT is supposed to align to an organization. So generally, we have to ensure that the ICT initiatives that are brought up on board must be aligned to the school's objectives and goals. And the time frame we gave to this is 12 months as well. I would request Jesse to continue with the objectives. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. And the rest of my colleagues, thank you. And develop a disaster recovery plan to ensure business continuity in case of unexpected events such as a system failure or cyber attacks. Most of these systems are vulnerable to attacks depending on the threats that are available or the threats that are capable of happening to the systems, especially like the hackers, and also maybe a system crashes due to unfavorable environment. So one of the strategic objectives is to ensure to plan for such events. Then the activities involved is to conduct a risk assessment to identify potential threats to the school's ICT infrastructure. The threats I've been talking about, to conduct an assessment to explore all the threats that could happen and attack the system. Then to conduct a business impact analysis to understand the key process in case they are compromised. Then to develop a disaster recovery plan that outlines clearly the steps to be taken in case of such emergencies. Then also to test the disaster recovery plan to ensure it is effective and up to date in case of the incidents to occur. The plan actually works and it can secure the system. Still, the time frame given to this strategic objective is 6 months. Ivan. Then the other strategic objective is to implement effectively security measures to protect sensitive data and ensure compliance with data protection regulations. Some of the activities to happen is to conduct a security assessment to identify potential threats or vulnerabilities in the school's ICT infrastructure. Then to develop a security policy that outlines the school's approach to data protection and security. Further, to implement security measures such as firewalls, antiviruses, and access control measures. To provide training for staff members on best practices for data protection and security. This can go across, like in the entire staff members. You train them on how to protect their data and security, and in case of any breaches, how to react, who to report to, and who's responsible for all that. The time frame given was 12 months. That's myself to take over.
Thank you, Jesse, and good morning to everyone else. So as my colleagues have gone through everything else, I'll come in on the last parts to just give you more insight on what we had come up with. So this is going to be, my part mainly has more details on how we're going to handle this strategy and how it's going to contribute to the objectives of the school. So in summary, as we can see that the IT group has to formulate a strategy to develop a comprehensive IT policy, upgrading hardware, software, providing trainings like my previous colleagues have explained. Also developing a collaboration between different departments, as you know, data is shared from one place to another. So basically, I'm going to give you more details on how we can achieve this. Evan, the next slide. So by developing a comprehensive IT policy, the school can ensure that its technology is aligned with all the goals. So as we had seen earlier, the goals of the school come first. So as you are developing your policies, your strategies, you must make sure that whatever you are doing is in line with the school's goals. You cannot just bring up a policy that will go astray in 2 years or 3 years later. No, it has to be in line with the school's policies and goals so that we can achieve and improve the school's image or the services being provided to the children. So when we go to upgrading hardware and software, we can see that by upgrading, we all know that you are going to improve the services to the children, yes, but also to the staff. So upgrading, we mean like updating the software, because we know software versions come out almost every year that have improved security, which can also help us with data security, and also improving hardware so that your hardware does not fall behind. Yes, you are upgrading your software, but can your hardware handle that new version? I'll give an example of our laptops. Most laptops, I'm sure right now, are running Windows 11, but there are some laptops that cannot handle that. So as you upgrade your software, you also have to make sure that your hardware is up to date so that it can accommodate the new upgrades. So that, and also with every updates you get, and both on software and hardware, you will see that it's actually helping the IT team to implement their policies, mainly with security, because we see software getting so many security updates preventing hackers from getting in. So also the trainings would help the staff members understand how the software works, what to do with their hardware, with their laptops, and also how to prevent data from being leaked out. Most times we go to schools, we go to companies, and we see that some staff members don't know how to use a basic machine, Word, Excel, and it's up to the IT team to train them on how to do that. So I believe with this training, we can also help the staff and other people using hardware to also understand how our policies can be implemented and how they are aligned with the school's goals. So fostering collaboration and collaboration between departments. We can see it's in instances where different departments need to get data from one another and they share it between themselves. But then
Hello? Hello, can everyone?
The same as developing.
Sorry, you had gone off a bit. Oh, sorry, hold on a second.
Hello?
I'll get you, but looks like doctor maybe has a connectivity issue or something.
Sorry, a phone call came through. Sorry, many apologies for that.
Okay, Doctor, can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, I was on the part of disaster recovery, where we see you need to have a backup plan for your data. Yes, you are collecting so much data, you are using it with different departments, but you need to back it up or to have a secure backup in case the software crashes, the hardware crashes, because we know hardware and software has so many bugs. And we know not everyone can use it properly. So at any random time, your system may crash. So it's good to have a backup somewhere to help you recover. Most companies do this every week or every month, so that in case it happens, you can at least recover from where you last stopped in the week or in the month, rather than you recovering data that was last used years back, which is not good. So finally, implementing effective security measures on data protection. This also comes in the part where I said we need to update our software regularly. As we can see, Microsoft almost every month releases software updates so that hackers do not just enter their system properly. Then also training workers on how to share their data. In this aspect of sharing data between different departments, how are you giving out your data? Who are you giving it to? Not all methods are accepted. I know of some companies personally that do not allow employees to use flash disks to share data. Everything is stored on OneDrive or their shared drive, which is good. This can also help the school protect their data from being shared to outside sources that do not have access to it. And overall, the strategy will enable the school to leverage its technology support in operations, enhancing teaching, learning, and improving their performance. And by investing in technology and developing a clear strategy for its use, the school can improve its position and be the leader in education and prepare students for success in the digital age. Thank you very much. That was what Group B had. We are open to answer any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Group B. Do we have any question? Question or comment? If no, I want to thank Group B. Again, just one comment, like the previous group, that first strategy of developing a strategic plan, I think is a bit redundant because it's already being done. That's what we're assuming is being done now. But thank you for your presentation. Can we quickly have the next group? Hopefully, no one is going to call me again. Next group, please. Thank you. This is Group C.
Yes, this is Group C. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, this is Group C, and in Group C, we have Julian, we have Vincent, Sylvia, Giles, and Lydian. With Group C, we propose to have one person present so that we manage time in it. So I'm going to present throughout. So quickly, through our discussions, we started with the current affairs of the school. And here we highlighted what is happening at the school in regards to the ICT area. And then we have mentioned that in 1998, the board approved the purchase of a new software and the applications around it. And at that time, the objective was to save staff time by using electronic communication and also to accelerate routine tasks, improve the way they have been doing their work. And that time, the purchase was used for the following functions that were highlighted then. It was on electronic mail, student database, and reporting, appointments. And also that time, there were other support software packages for the human resource and accounting department that were purchased. During that time also, for purposes of ensuring the software was used, computers were purchased. The school was also networked and also connected to printers. This allowed staff members in various departments to be able to share these computers and also their work. I've also talked about the network architecture that was available, and that architecture, the design that was provided, had the capacity to have as many and more computers, about 40 to 50 computers. In 2004, at the school, about 60 computers were replaced with the latest IBM desktops, but the main system was not upgraded. Further to that, they also got about 5 laptops that were purchased. And this was mainly for some of the staff, and there were few, I think it's because of the challenges that they had, that just a few of them decided to have their own, and these ones were allowed to have internet at the time. So that was the overall current affairs that we highlighted. And based on that, we came up with the SWOT analysis for the school. Oh, I forgot to change the spelling of CLET, but I will do that. So the strength that we picked out, one was there has been support from board of directors in terms of ICT. Here we saw that the board was able to approve certain investments at that time. So one of the strengths when you have top management supporting ICT, supporting the development of ICT, because they understand the benefits of the use of ICT or the modern technology that can bring to the school. So we thought that was one of the key strengths that the school has. The other one was dedicated employees. It has a number of full-time and part-time employees. And of course, this workforce and is just in using some of the application. This we felt was a strength in that when you're implementing new ICT systems, you won't have a lot of change management to do. So we thought that was a strength. The other one is at least there's some level of ICT infrastructure in place. It has its challenges, but at least the school is not going to start from zero. There's something already in place. It only needs to upgrade it and improve on it. So we thought that was a plus. The network architecture, the way it was designed, is able to support as many or more staff as it can, based on what the way it was set up. And of course, there already, as mentioned, existing software in there. So we felt those were the strengths that the school currently has. Weaknesses. The weaknesses presented limited training of the applications and the use of these tools, as you'd see in the text and in the assessment. Few people have been trained in the departments. And of course, this caused some level of attitude towards the use of the application. When you see some of the, I think the head of the institution, he wasn't really that enthusiastic. because he doesn't know how to use some of the tools or application, including some of the stuff. So we felt that was a weakness. And of course, there was no guiding ICT strategy or policy in place to inform them on what to do in terms of ICT. And of course, highlight the value that it comes with it. The other one of the weaknesses was the backup procedures are done at working hours, of course, affecting the staff performance. This also meant that their backup procedures or the policy itself is not well aligned to some of the school routine. There's no proper ICT staff to manage and maintain the ICT infrastructure at the school. In the study, you don't really see a proper, well-aligned IT staff. This is a gentleman who has a different background in ICT and is running a big project, but the staff is limited or not well aligned or structured. So we thought this was one of the weaknesses that was there at the school. Opportunities. The opportunities, we're looking at them from a different angle, from more a governance perspective. And here we're looking at the school's financial stand was not so bad. What that meant that it was easy to solicit for funds to be able to invest in the ICT infrastructure. It is one thing wanting to have a good ICT environment, but if the school, in terms of finances, doesn't have budget, you'd have a problem. But here, the opportunity is there. The other opportunity was the board of directors, jointly with staff, had set up some organization plan, meaning that there was some level of planning overall, though, for the departments, and we felt that this opportunity could be used to also include the ICT plan as well. Those were the two that we came up with. The threats, of course, as mentioned, the software had run out of support and maintenance, meaning that if there was a problem with this particular software, repairing or working on it would be a problem. Bringing up the issue of assuming something happens, you'd end up losing data. The school is using old version of the application. As you mentioned, the system itself, the provider of the software mentioned that they have updated the software being used, and currently the school was still using an old version of this. And of course, that comes with a lot of maintenance and support issues. The other threat, top management in the few discussions was losing confidence in the use of ICT. What was the value? They didn't feel that ICT was bringing any value. That one was coming from the top, I think was the director of the school. And this in the long run, if not managed, would affect trying to solicit for funds to invest in the infrastructure. So those were the SWOT that we came up with. So, oh, sorry. I was meant to remove that slide. The needs, the ICT needs and requirements for the school. We highlighted that there was need to update the existing network infrastructure to cater for the entire campus. It looked like it was catering just for a few departments. And of course, upgrade the software for better support and maintenance. Document the user requirements from staff to improve the functionality of the system. You'd notice from the discussion that was happening with a few staff members, they had some requirements that they felt were good for the software to handle. So we felt that for us to have better needs, ICT needs, we needed to cater for those requirements. Also, the need to purchase for more computers as the staff numbers were continuing to grow. It was mentioned that more staff members were coming on board. So of course, it meant that the equipment needs to also align with the staff numbers. And lastly, the need for a comprehensive training plan on the equipment of the tools used in the different program and in the other departments. Our objectives, the ICT strategic objective, the number one was, of course, to improve the IT infrastructure and support. Under that, the activities, this has been done, but it was one of the activities that would conduct a comprehensive assessment of the current ICT infrastructure, including the hardware and software. This will guide us in developing and implementing a plan to upgrade or replace outdated infrastructure so that we can improve on the performance. The other activity under that would be to enhance the ICT support. You can't talk about coming up with the proper or a new ICT environment, the hardware, software, without talking about support. So this includes implementing a help desk to troubleshoot and maintain, to manage downtime and disruptions. And of course, the other activity was provide training to staff on this, on the IT practices, including cybersecurity awareness, basic ICT training skills. Time frame for this was 12 months to complete the assessment, upgrades, and also to set up the ICT environment mentioned. Second objective, I know, Doctor, you already commented about this. However, we also had the same. This was to the activities under that. I may not go much into it. I've already commented about it, that we are already in developing the ICT strategy plan. So this is more redundant, so I may not waste much time on it. The third one was to enhance data management and reporting, as the kind of training or school that is being run here. Data management is very key and important. So we thought one of the objectives was to assess how to manage the data. The other activity under that would implement a centralized data management through the system. How do you collect? How do you store? How do you report? When you look at the text, there is a lot of exchange and retrieval of information, especially from the treatment. I think treatment department or program, you find most of the department rely a lot on that treatment section. So that exchange of data, how do you manage that? So we thought it was a very key objective for us in this particular case. And of course, develop the standardization of that data and train staff on how to use that data. So the time frame we gave was 9 months for that to happen. The other objective is to improve the business continuity and information security. Here, one of the activities is to conduct a comprehensive and review of the current backup. As mentioned in there, the way the backups were done needed to be aligned or properly done. So one of them was the first activity, of course, to review what is there, what measures are there, then identify what needs to be done, then develop a backup and disaster recovery process and procedures in line with the school routine so that we don't collide with the school routine as mentioned before. Develop and update information security policies, conduct regular security audits, establish a robust incident and response plan to manage security. And of course, here the time frame that we gave was 6 months. So in summary, the ICT strategy for the school that we came up with. This particular strategy aims at achieving the benefits of the ICT investments. This one we felt is very key. I've been talking about it. So that top management or board of directors need to find value out of why the school is investing a lot of money or spending a lot of money on these upgrades. What's the value? So the strategy needs, we want to ensure that it brings out that aspect of ICT investment. And this one is through engaging all stakeholders at the school. This includes staff, the board, the support staff, and staff at all levels, and students as well, to identify their needs. Of course, this strategy assesses the current infrastructure, and it proposes the best software and hardware mainly, and also to conduct effective training. Training was pointed out as one of the issues. So conduct effective training. Effective is a word which comprises, inside that effective, it means having a proper plan, identifying the training programs, identifying the training needs. So effective training, and of course, offering ICT support for all departments. And lastly, the strategy aims at improving efficiency and aligning the investment with the school's overall strategic goals of improving care and treatment for the boys. So that was summary of our strategy, and that ends our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group C. Thank you for that presentation. Can you quickly have the next group?
Can we share?
Yes, please.
Yes, this is Group D.
Mm-hmm.
I'm called Clement. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning to you.
Yes, we are 6 colleagues here. So this is our presentation. We shall give you a background of what we found out in the study. The Clarion School for Boys is a private for-profit residential treatment facility that focused on helping delinquent boys between the age of 10 and 18 to become good members of the society. By 2016, the school had expanded and set up different treatment facilities in different areas. And it had developed to 128 staff and 120 students enrolled. To increase staff effectiveness and productivity, the school management proposed 3 major projects to the board of directors in the fiscal year 2006-2007, of which a major upgrade of the IBM SAS 400 computing system and its associated software. They required personal computers, and the network to support the system was to increase staff's effectiveness and productivity for efficient information access and sharing of information and communication among staff, leading to its approval by the board. The staff also got interest to have the system support their communication. However, the heavy investment in the purchase and maintenance of the information system was hindered by several challenges, and this affected its adoption and implementation. hence prompting the board of directors to call for an evaluation to find out if the system is advantageous and meeting the intended goals and objectives. So the vision is to create an environment for boys who had got into trouble that provides a diagnosis, treatment plan, discipline, and support needed to become productive members of the society. That was the vision for the school. So that's briefly the introduction for the status. My colleague will come in to give the SWOT analysis, what we found out.
Good morning, members. This is Conrad. Thank you very much, Clement. I'm going to take you guys through the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. So with the background that has been provided, we looked at the strength of the system, being the willingness from the board of directors to invest in an information system which could support to achieve the school's strategic goals and objectives. And this comes in play with the effectiveness or the first idea that comes from the board of directors to take the initiative, have the ICT strategies involved within their decision makings, and thus making life easy for the school, for staff and students. Then as well, the strength would look at availability of funds to procure, implement, and maintain the information management system. And this is, the funds would be used to procure, to finance the staff that are going to work on the system, to buy the hardware that is going to be used, and as well to fund the process of development of the development and evaluation of the information management system. Then another strength is the staff willingness to use the proposed information system. We all believe and know that in this today era, people have a negative attitude towards the information systems or the new ICT developments that are coming into play. So here, staff willingness would act as a strength because it would make the information management system achieve its objectives and the initial objectives and goals for the school. So we head to weaknesses. With the current status of the information system at play, lack of a clear ICT plan to guide the implementation of the proposed information system. And this would divert or would lead into the system, the school not achieving its initial goals and objectives for it to, or the original goal being the original goal for creating this information system not to be achieved. There is as well lack of consistency within the school's strategic goals and objectives. The information system does not align with the goals and objectives of the institution, leading to concerns about its overall benefit to the school. And this is led to by the school not achieving its goals, and as well students and staff not being confident with the with the usage of this information system. If the members of the school cannot comfortably use this system, that means it has really failed to achieve its goals and objectives. Inadequate skills and knowledge among staff, effectiveness and efficiency. So lack of knowledge with the usage of this system really can affect the efficiency and effectiveness of the information system. Then let's go to the second, the other slide, please. All right, thank you. Then the opportunities here, we are looking at training programs. With these training programs, the target as the weakness being lack of enough skilled labor or skilled staff, or staff lacking some skills. With these trainings, we believe we are going to empower or build skills for all the staff to ensure that they are able to efficiently and effectively use the system or utilize the information system. Then system evaluation. With system evaluation, we are looking at evaluating the current system, looking the gaps that are into place, then developing or involving everyone that is going to be using the system to ensure that we look at the gaps that are not or that are affecting the utilization of the health of the to meet its goals and objectives. Accountability. All staff have a role to play in implementation of the system. We believe all staff have to be involved in the development or in the enhancement or in the evaluation of the system to ensure that all corners or aspects of the school, all goals and objectives are achieved. Alignment with the school goals and objectives. This one brings into play all the system aspects, the health system, the information system aspects have to be in line with the goals and objectives of the school. To make sure that the data they capture is all is to, well, okay. I believe that the next member take on. Thank you very much.
Good morning, members. My name is Dr. Tamale Newton. I'm going to take you through SWOT analysis, part of threats. In threats, we are having high maintenance cost. Here, the school incurs significant expenses in maintaining the information system, which may be attributed to poor implementation and lack of vendor support. Then we are having insufficient resource allocation. Here, the information system continues to generate high maintenance costs without corresponding benefits. It may force management to divert resources from other critical areas to support the system. Then there is competition from other schools with the better information management system. So this increases competition among the schools in the area, whereby they are having different management system. Okay, and we're having a private technical adoption, primitive technological adoption. Staff who are not able to adopt to this new system may not embrace this technology properly. So that makes a threat in implementing the system efficiently in the school. Second slide, next slide. Then we have summary of possible ICT needs and requirements, skills assessment and training. There is, under skills assessment and training, there is system evaluation. There is a need to evaluate the system, the implemented system, whether it is in line with the school goals and objectives. There is IT priorities. Here, we prioritize ICT initiatives and investment based on the school's strategic goals and objectives. There is vendor support. Under vendor support, when here there is issue of poor vendor support by reviewing the current vendor performance and considering alternative necessary. This can come in place when the vendors monopolize the play. For example, in maintaining the system, giving technical support in the system. So if they monopolize and hike the prices, then the management can force the management to look for other vendors to give support. Okay, there is routine system maintenance and update. Implement a proactive maintenance. Under here, we implement a proactive maintenance and update schedules for the information system. Then okay. We have user feedback and engagement. Here we encourage feedback from employees or end users regarding the implemented information system. So I call in my colleague to take you through the next slide.
Next slide. Good morning, doctor, and good morning, my fellow students. I'm by names of Dung Rogers, and I'm going to take you through the strategic objectives of Clarion School for Boys. And this section is outlining what is critical or important within the school. So here we came up with the main objective, which was establishing and maintaining a robust technology infrastructure which will support the institution. By this, we are going to make sure that we set up a reliable internet connectivity. Then we manage hardware and software resources while maintaining the data centers or the server rooms. And this we estimated for it to take a period of 5 months. Then here, the next bit, we are planning on deploying a modernized IT infrastructure that will enable seamless access to information. You know, this is going to take a period of 2 months because it will involve engaging the different departments within the school and see how they operate and how we can integrate their data flow within the main system. Then the other point is formulating an ICT policy and standard in accordance with the school objectives. So this IT policy is going to guide how things are supposed to be done, when, by who, and how. Then the other part, developing a project management schedule. This will be a list of activities, deliverables, and milestones, and that will take a period of 3 months. Next slide. Next slide, please. Then, from our main objective, we had also to break down further into specific objectives, which one of the specific objectives was to equip users with the appropriate skills that are required to operate the system. By doing this, we shall have activities like developing a comprehensive digital literacy curriculum for students that includes topics like internet safety, basic computer skills, digital citizenship within the first year of operationalizing the system. Then also provide professional development opportunities for teachers to enhance their ICT skills, to integrate technology into the institution practice. This one is ongoing. It will be ongoing as the project is being implemented. Then also implement a student technology ambassador program to encourage peer-to-peer learning and support for the student. This will be within the first year. Then also offer workshops and training sessions to parents to help them understand and navigate the digital tools. Because with this system, we should also have features where parents can get feedback either from the school or to know how their students, how the different boys are performing at different activities. Next slide, please. That will be ongoing as the system. Next slide, please. Then the other second specific objective is providing timely technical support to users to minimize system downtime. Here, we shall have activities like formulating an ICT support team within 2 months that is going to go around supporting the end users. Then also the other activity will be diagnosing and repairing faults. That's continuous through, even that is continuous, whether the system has been deployed and even afterwards. That's a continuous process. Then also installing and configuring hardware and software. That is continuous. speaking to end users to understand their problems, that is continuous, because the more we talk to the end users, that is gathering user requirements, what would want to be included in the next version of the system, the information system. You know, the system goes in various versions depending on the community needs. Then also we shall be supporting the rollout of new application, which will be continuous. As we engage with the end users, we try to understand how the business environment is operating. Then we put in supplementaries or new features within the system that will be continuous. Then also, after putting in the new technologies, we shall have to test and evaluate these new technologies that we put to, that will be a continuous process. Next slide, please. Then the other, protecting the organization's data assets and ensuring compliance with the relevant regulations. Here, we shall have an institution sec policy, then use of strong, reliable antiviruses where needed, then also educate staff on the importance of information security. Then also we create a system backup. Next slide, please. Then I call in my other colleague to take over from where I've stopped.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rogers, and thank you, colleagues. And good morning, Doctor and colleagues. Yes, I'm Denis Shukelo. I'm going to present to you what we have come up as our ICT strategy for the school. And our ICT strategy is mainly focusing on how we can enable the school to align its current business processes with its overall goals and objectives. And in this we have noticed that redesigning of the entire enterprise architecture for the school would really come in handy here. Reason being, when you look at the details in the write-ups, most of the information systems or business processes were designed, or the architecture design was done in the 1990s and also in the early 2000s. And when you look at majorly what has been raised during the evaluation of the current system, you notice that most of the questions were being raised and focusing on the limitations of the current ICT which has been deployed in place. So just going straight to what we have, our main IT strategy is redesigning an enterprise architecture. And in the redesign, we are focusing on aligning the network, the organization and the organizational and business processes, information systems, applications, and technological requirements to the current business needs. And in this, we are looking at the technological improvement to focus more on the requirements that are needed in terms of the hardwares, the current hardwares that are needed. Like, for example, when you look at the current setup of the institution, the ICT seems to be only implemented in one of the campuses of the school. But when you look at in 2006, the school has expanded and it has around 4 sites now, or 4 branches, which now all needs improvements and alignment. And in the under technological improvements, we are looking at setting up also a robust
Hello? So is it my network or is it